Jazz 90.1 proudly welcomes you to America's longest-running computer show, Sound Bytes. Call the show now at 966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415 or soundbytes.org. Now, alongside Steve Ray and Dave Enright, here's Nick Francesco on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Good afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all the chips in the PC. It's Saturday, the 8th day of February, Anno Domini 2025, and you lucky people, you're listening to Sound Bytes. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And it's 6 minutes after the hour, we're going to be bringing you news, views, things to choose, nothing to lose, get off your shoes. Don't get the blues. Have you paid your dues?
Yeah, remember, talk into it. Not
Into the microphone? Here comes the news. What is this, radio? Wireless? We're doing... Okay, as we all know, Windows 10 reaches end of life and end of updates and end of all support on the 14th of October of this year, unless, that is, you're willing to pay, and it ain't going to be cheap. In a recently updated support document, Microsoft has revealed new details about its Extended Security Updates, or ESU, program for Windows 10. This program provides critical security updates for users and companies who are not ready to make the leap to Windows 11. However, this extended support comes at a price which may cause some organizations to reconsider their IT strategies. The ESU program will be available for devices running Windows 10 version 22H2 only, with costs starting at $61 per device for the first year of coverage from November 25 to November 2026. The second year will cost $122, or double the first year, and $244 the third year, or double again. So
per device.
Per device.
Yep.
So not upgrading to Windows 11 will ultimately cost you $427, far more than the course of a Windows 11 license, and at the end of 3 years, you're stuck anyway. Now, you, in a booming economy, might be willing to pay that price to put off the pain of installing a new OS for 3 years. But what about a company with hundreds or even just dozens of PCs? Their choices are move everybody to Windows 11, which requires planning and staging and a lot of red tape, staying with Windows 10 and paying for support, which requires a lot of money, or running Windows 10 without support, which for a company is at best foolhardy and at worst stupid. Because remember that support also means security updates. You as an individual might be willing to chance being missed by robots scouring the internet for unsecured computers. Spoiler alert, they won't miss you. But can companies afford to take that gamble? I think not, particularly since the minute an unfixed hole is announced, every hacker on the planet is going to start writing code to exploit it. Oh, and get this, if you're one of those companies who is heavily invested in Microsoft's cloud services and are already paying Microsoft to run virtual Windows 10 machines online in Windows 365 or Azure Virtual Desktop, they will receive ESUs, the extended security updates, at no additional charge. We've been telling you that virtual Windows computers is where Microsoft wants you to go. Here's yet another example. So our poll of the week at soundbytes.org, that's Bytes with a Y, Francis would like us to remind you, is Windows 10 support, $427 for 3 years. And your choices are well worth it. I'll think about it. Time to dial it up to 11. Going commando, baby. And Windows. So far, we have 34 votes, and Windows is in the lead, followed by going commando, baby. And in fact, time to dial it up to 11 is only 5 votes out of 34, so not particularly high. And of course, if you have something to say about this, or, well, dang near anything involving computers, we hope, give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ, that's 966-5299, toll free 800-790-0415.
What's particularly egregious to this, I think, is that they are fixing bugs in their own software. They're not adding features, they're fixing bugs. In the January 2025 Patch Tuesday, 8 zero-day vulnerabilities were released, fixed. Who knows how many were released?
Right.
And 159 other flaws were patched.
Right.
in Windows. So 160 odd bugs in 1 month, and it's not an atypical month. It's pretty much like that every month.
Exactly right.
And so they're charging you to pay to fix their bugs.
Yes, that is their business model. You pay to fix their bugs. You pay to be a beta tester, and you pay to fix their bugs. And I get it. That's their business model, and they're welcome to it. But you're the one who has to pay. So if you have been holding on to Windows 10 because you're stubborn or lazy or can't afford Windows 11, you need to rethink your strategy. There's the minute Windows 10 reaches end of life, there are going to be 1 million hackers exploiting every known hole and every new hole that comes up. And if you aren't protected, if you're still running Windows 10 and aren't paying Microsoft for extended support, you will be hit. Because remember, these people, they may say, we're going to go after the fat cats and yada, yada, yada. The reality is they write bots, and bots hit every single IP address on the internet, including yours.
If I can get $10 from 1 million people, that's a lot better than going after the fat
right.
cat. Yeah.
The bottom line is, however small it is, they're still making money.
Right. And
more than they used to make when they wrote the stupid viruses that didn't do zip.
And it's essentially free money.
Yeah.
Let's say it cost me, I don't know, $400 to write in my time and effort to write a code that steals people's data, an exploit. Mm-hmm. The first time I hit $400, everybody else is free money.
Yep.
And there are 100 billion people on the internet.
Well, just making your
everybody else is free money.
Right.
Just making your money back is a big accomplishment.
And because there's so much overlap in Windows, they're going to stop updating Windows 10. But every vulnerability found in Windows 11 probably affects 10. Probably affects 8. Probably affects 7.
Yep.
And so you're still that $427 would be buy a really nice Chromebook, and not too crappy a Windows PC, but
right.
Yeah.
$427 is a good long distance toward a high-end machine, a mid-end machine, and certainly will buy you like 2 or 3 Chromebooks. So
I know one guy though. I feel bad for him because he's running this one piece of software, and I told him what he's got to do is take that computer offline, like I did.
Disconnect from the internet.
Get it offline so it doesn't talk to the internet. He's good with Windows 10 as long as it's a standalone computer that's hooked up to his one machine that he needs, which is critical because, by the way, the company went out of business due to COVID.
That's a problem. I understand that's a problem.
But the software, it fits his need, and it has. Matter of fact, just before COVID, he had just paid $2,000 for the last update before the company went down. So he's good for a while, probably before he retires. And but I told him, you got to get it off the internet. Can't talk, emails, nothing. Because he goes, well, what about that? No. What part of that? It cannot be on the internet.
That's right. And the other part of the problem is Microsoft has been known to remove support documents when a product goes out of, it reaches end of life.
Yeah.
So it may well be that in the coming years, we cannot help you with Windows 10 either. Because if we can't find we have a lot of knowledge, but there's a lot of stuff we also look up.
Well, the links we post
could
be gone because Microsoft took them down.
Exactly.
And there's no reason to. Buy another hard drive, Microsoft.
Right. It's just bits on a hard drive. Leave it there. But they won't, which means that you are going to not be able to even get free support or support from other people after a while. And that's not just tech documents like do this, but it's also going to be drivers. If you decide you need to rebuild your Windows 10 machine and you need a driver for a certain device, I certainly hope you've downloaded it and saved it out now, because it may not be available in a couple of by the end of November, by the end of October.
There's a couple of third-party companies out that reverse engineer the Microsoft patches and then release them to their own customers. They're running older OSs. You're still paying, yeah. But
So-
at least that's another option.
Right. Anyway, while you sit there and worry about what you're doing with Windows 10, we're going to talk to Cheryl from Rochester, New York. Hiya, Cheryl. What's up?
First of all, I just want to thank you guys for all you do. Over the years, you've helped me with a lot of things.
Thank you.
So I have a Pixel 4a, which I love, but now with the new battery software update thing, I'm charging my phone like 3 times a day. So I just bought a Pixel 8a, which I haven't gotten yet. But one of the questions is, when I log into the new phone, will my apps from the Google Play Store at least come back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
If
I have
you,
to
and
join
in
it.
fact, if you have been using Google's apps like Messages and Contacts and Photos, all of those will come back as well.
Yeah, because they usually give you a cable that you can connect. At least on mine, they did. When I was going from my 5 to my 6, they sent me a cable along with it that I plugged in at the bottom where you'd normally charge it, and started the transfer. And it took a while, but it took every app right from one to the other, and even positioned it to where I had it on the other screens.
Huh. So you connect the 2 phones?
Yeah. They gave you this little cable that had the C connector on both ends that you could plug into it, and it did the transfer.
That can sometimes be faster than downloading everything from the internet, although
Right.
in these days of 500 megabit internet, it's pretty
Right.
fast.
And when I got my new phone, I just signed in, and it did all of that over the internet because I was using all of Google stuff, and all of that is backed up to Google Drive, and so it all came back down again.
I just posted a link from Google on how to upgrade both to a new Google phone and to a Samsung and some other brand phones too.
Perfect.
So if you go Google to Google, that's the easiest way.
Yeah. So if I did the thing with the cable, it won't bring my third-party apps over, though, right?
It may not.
Okay. That'd be icing on the cake, I guess, if it did.
Right. And it honestly, it depends on the app.
Okay. My other quick question was, I was very sad to realize that there's no longer a headphone jack, which I use all the time. So I know, Nick, you're a Pixel guy, and Dave too, but, I mean, is it worth Pixel Buds? I mean, I know you can still get, I think, some of the Series A ones. It's a big price leap from earbuds to...
You can also get a USB-C to headphone adapter relatively cheap, like probably $10 or so.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can do that, or you can use anybody's USB headphones or earbuds.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You're not limited to the Pixel ones.
Whereas Nick and I both use our hearing aids
Right.
to go from our Pixel phone to our hearing aids.
Okay.
But a lot of companies are making USB-C headphones
Yep.
or earphones because everybody uses USB-C now.
Well,
But then you can use your headphone adapter for headphones you already have, or
Right.
just use the speakerphone, but not in public, please.
Right, exactly. But if you're looking for some way, to connect wirelessly, it's just USB. So, excuse me. It's just It's just wireless connectivity.
Bluetooth.
Thank you. It's Bluetooth connectivity. So any Bluetooth headphones, any Bluetooth earbuds can be paired with your phone.
So there's no advantage, really, I mean, as far as connectivity or anything. They all should pair properly. And
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I know the Pixel Buds have that translation feature in it, don't they? Still.
Yes.
So you can hear French. If someone speaks French and you hear English, which is pretty cool.
It's very cool.
We're getting toward the Star Trek Universal Translator.
Right. It's very cool. But if you don't have a need for that,
yeah.
you don't need to spend the money for Pixel Buds.
Okay. I did not know there was an adapter, too, so that's great. That's great to know, too. So, okay.
All right.
All right, well, thanks again. Appreciate it.
Have fun, Cheryl.
All right, thanks.
And good luck with your new phone.
Yeah, it's very exciting. The Pixel 8a is a nice phone.
Every time I see the Amazon truck pull into our parking lot, I go, "Ooh!" But I didn't order anything yet. Someone else did. But
They know. They know when
There's-
you're gonna order something.
There's just that moment of excitement. Oh, there's the thing I didn't order.
Yep. Yeah, I got a notice. I got a half a notice yesterday on my Alaska. It made that noise like I'm about to announce you got a package, and then it didn't announce I had a package.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. It was annoying, at the very least.
angle brackets are not allowed. Really? Okay.
All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Larry from Rochester, New York. What's up, Larry? Larry?
Hold on.
Get.
Okay.
There we are.
Sorry, Larry. Dave was off
Getting his.
somewhere.
I gotta
And
get my butt up in the chair.
Yeah, he's
so I can
climbing
push
back,
the door.
climbing back up into that chair.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
I'm older than you.
you are that. You're older than dirt, and I'm dirt.
Thank
So
You guys are quite a show.
thank you. So now that we finally got you, Larry, what's up?
A couple of days ago, I updated my Mac M1 to Sequoia, I believe it is. The latest version of Sequoia was at 15.3. In the process, I seem to have scrogged Sophos, and the shield that I normally see is red. I have tried 2-3 dozen times now to reload Sophos onto the machine, and it just won't work. I don't get any error messages or anything, and when I go to help doesn't really help me. I've gone through the steps over and over, and things come up and say, yeah, give me your password, and I do all of that, but it doesn't seem to upload the latest. So it looks like I can still scan the machine for a full scan. It'll see that, but it still says on the Sophos page that your machine is vulnerable. So the only option I have left is to uninstall it, and I'm a little leery about doing that.
There's some security permission you haven't given it yet, so that a third-party program can run at the low level, probably at the kernel level, that most AV software needs to run. So the trick is finding which security permission that is, or the easiest thing is to use the Sophos remove program that's a part of it, and then reinstall it again. And then it will ask you all of those permissions during the install.
Now, that won't affect my subscription to it, will it?
No, it shouldn't. It's you're reinstalling on the same computers.
Right.
Just make sure you've written down your serial number or whatever ahead of time.
It logs into his account.
Oh, yeah, all right then.
No,
Oh, okay.
yeah, nobody uses serial numbers anymore. They put everything in your account online.
Yeah.
Which is good, so then you don't have to find that serial number 3 years later. But it's
Oh,
bad
okay.
because you have to have an online account.
Nick just gave me a shiver when he said that. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess what I will do is go to Sophos Uninstaller in the launch and just install it and start from fresh. I used to not have this problem, but it seems in the last 2 updates, I get this, and this time I can't get it to go at all.
Yeah, it's the added security features that Apple keeps adding in to stop unwanted programs, and so it also hampers wanted programs. And so it's somewhere in system settings under privacy and security. There's a setting you have to turn on.
Okay.
You might be able to go through that and find the Sophos setting that's turned off, and see if that works.
All right. So when I go to full disk access, I have installer turned on protection. Quite a few buttons here that are associated with Sophos, and I have them all turned on. I remember in the older updates, it would ask you, do you want to allow software from Apple and from third-party whatever? And you would say yes.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem like it really does that now, but I go in and I either use my fingerprint or just put my password in?
Yeah, it's a little tricky because it's software that was already there before the upgrade. So it assumed it had permission, but now that after the upgrade, it doesn't have permission again because it's a third-party program. So it might be under accessibility, it might be under automation. There are other things in the privacy and security that you may have to turn on.
All right. Well, I'll continue to listen to the program while I uninstall it and fight my way through this one more time.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Larry.
Usual. Thank you, guys.
Have fun. Yeah, that'll be...
And because an antivirus program wants to hook itself deep into the OS, it needs to have extra permissions.
Right. And so the normal permissions you would normally give any regular program aren't enough.
Right.
Yeah, I get that. Sophos is a good program, and running a good antivirus program is part of keeping your machine clean and healthy. But it can get annoying when you do that kind of upgrade and that sort of thing happens. I do understand that. Yeah. All right. Back to the phones. Are you ready, Mr. Enright?
Perhaps.
Okay. We'll give it a try. Back to the phones. Our next caller is Al from Rochester, New York. What's up, Al?
Hey, guys. You got to take it easy on Dave. He does control the buttons and everything. He's got your life in his hands.
He controls the buttons, but sometimes he forgets he controls the buttons.
He forgets that at times, Al.
Oh, I guess. Okay. Hey, going back to an earlier call from a lady about Pixel phones, I just want to share experience or growing experience I've had with Pixel phones. Love them to pieces, but I'm becoming a real unfan of the USB-C port. My 3 died, or I traded up because my 3C port died, and now my Pixel 6 is showing signs of the same issue.
Yep.
So what I've done personally is I always charge wirelessly. I don't try and plug in through the port because I don't want to wear it out.
Yeah.
And I use Bluetooth quite a bit.
We had a lot of people with iPhones with the old Lightning port, and so the micro USB were so tiny that plugging it in and out so many times would just wear it out. So we've been constantly afraid Apple's going to remove all ports and say, "Oh, just use wireless charging," and then the rest of the industry usually follows. So
another good solution, though, Al. My wife had the same issue, where brand new phone, and what was it, maybe a month and a half, and she managed to mess up the charging port. It's because she'd sit there in bed and had the charger phone, plugged in, trying to keep it going so she could play her game. I found these cords where you wind up putting this little piece into the charging port, and it stays there. And the charging cord is magnetic with a 360-degree swivel. She has not been able to break another.
I just saw one with 540-degree swivel.
Oh, 540?
You can go around, what, is that 1.5 times?
Okay. But they're very cheap. I believe the company is called STAKI.
There's a whole bunch of different companies.
Yeah.
I'm looking on Amazon. There's a bunch of companies selling the exact same looking thing.
And
you see that a lot. But the two fixes for that are wireless charging or some sort of magnetic thing like Dave is talking about, where you plug something into the port once and then everything else just snaps on and off magnetically.
Yes, I agree. But I wish they'd just go back to the micro USB, which I actually don't think I've ever had one fail. But I'm on my third. I actually had the Chromebook you set my wife up, which has been a blessing, by the way.
It was tricky when some of them were micro B, and some of them were mini B, and some of them were super B. But just wait till USB D. That'll unify them all.
That'll be okay. All right.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Al. We got to take a quick break, but we'll be back in just a couple of minutes with Dave Enright, with Steve Ray, with me, Nick Francesco, and with you. It is 29 minutes after the hour. You're listening to Sound Bytes right here on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Before you call into our show, please make note of the following rules. 1, turn your radio down. 2, turn your radio down lower. 3, remember, nobody has invented a good-sounding speakerphone yet. Don't use them. 4, make sure you have a point. It makes for a more interesting show. 5, calling does not guarantee you'll get on the air. No whining. 6, if you do get on the air, please do not tell the host what you just told the screener. We don't care. And 7, is that radio turned down yet? We hope this will make for a more enjoyable program, and we thank you for your time.
Computer talk you can understand. More Sound Bites is next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carton. The U.S. is approving a $7 billion arms sale to Israel. The Trump administration announced the deal as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu wrapped up a visit to Washington on Friday. Earlier in the week, Congress put a hold on $1 billion weapons transfer to Israel, requesting further details from the White House. 3 former Israeli hostages are undergoing medical checkups at a hospital after being released by Hamas earlier today. The 3 men were handed over to the Red Cross in central Gaza this morning. In exchange, Israel freed a group of Palestinian prisoners. A research group off the Florida coast has caught the biggest male white shark they have ever tagged. More from Rob Martier.
The research group OSearch says the shark, about 14 feet long and over 1,600 pounds, was tagged and released on January 17th off the northern coast of Florida.
The group studies shark behavior. Lisa Carton, NBC News Radio.
Can we save memories before they slip away? This is Sandra Tsing-Loh with the Lowdown on Science. Alzheimer's kills brain cells, leading to memory loss and confusion. How can we stop this destruction? Marta Koper and the team at University Hospital Leuven in Belgium may have found a hidden culprit, a protein called RIPK1 that attacks and kills brain cells. Scientists gave mice a drug that blocks RIPK1, essentially turning off this cell death switch. The results? Treated mice improved on memory tests compared to untreated mice. Their brains were healthier too, with significantly fewer dead cells in key memory areas. This breakthrough could lead to Alzheimer's treatments that protect our memories. Now that's unforgettable. But what do lab rats have to remember anyway? Where the cheese was?
Black History Month programming on Jazz 90.1 is supported by our members and by the Rochester Broadway Theater League. Presenting The Wiz, running from February 22nd to the 28th at the West Her Auditorium Theater. For showtimes and to purchase tickets to see The Wiz, you may visit rbtl.org. That's rbtl.org.
Jazz 90.1 and Greece Baptist Church are again pleased to present free community jazz and big band concerts.
The next concert features the Gate Swingers Big Band, Thursday, March 20th at 7 p.m. For more information, visit jazz901.org.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and experiences connect through conversation, and it feels good.
This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together. Start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Patty LaBelle. Now, cooking is all about time. Like when it's time to add some salt, time to add some oregano, and when it's time to take it off the burner. Since we're all getting a little older, it's time to get screened for cancer. It could save your life, and it's easier than ever. We'll help you find a screening location that works for you at timetoscreen.org. It's just like cooking, honey. When it's time, it's time. Just call 1-855-53-SCREEN.
Brought to you by Kansas Care and the Community Oncology Alliance.
And now, a check of your Jazz 90.1 weather forecast.
Cloudy today with an easterly breeze, and we'll find some light snow developing by later into the afternoon. Temperatures will be topping out in the upper 20s for highs. For tonight, we'll look for areas of snow, 3 to 7 inches of accumulation. Overnight lows will be into the mid-20s. For the day on Sunday, we'll find some snow, especially in the morning, a cloudy sky for the afternoon. The high temperature near 30, and Monday features clouds, some sun, and some lake flakes. Highs in the mid-20s. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
And currently right now we've got overcast skies. It's 27 degrees out at the airport and 31 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 35 minutes after the hour, we are Soundbites. And you can give us a call at 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415. In Microsoft news, Windows 10 support cost wasn't the only Microsoft news this week. Not by a long shot. Many people have hardware that cannot be upgraded to Windows 11 officially, but there have been lots of unofficial workarounds for systems that can't support Windows 11's TPM 2.0 requirement. Even Microsoft published a document showing a registry key that would let you skip the TPM check on installation. But that document has been removed. Flyby11, a popular third-party tool that allows people to dodge the TPM 2.0 requirement, is now flagged as malware by Windows Defender. Speaking of Windows Defender, Microsoft is shutting down the Windows Defender VPN, or Virtual Private Network, at the end of the month. We've talked before about how VPNs aren't the security wonder drug people seem to think they are, so this isn't as big a loss for the majority of us as it looks. A year ago, Microsoft patched a security hole that used Outlook's preview pane. When you view something in preview pane, it's live, so any malware in that email can run. Well, it's back, so if you're using Outlook's preview pane, stop. The security hole is back, is what I'm saying. Microsoft had a bug, hope you were sitting down, that caused issues with the December 2024 Windows 11 security update. They say they fixed it now, so you should check your system for updates and install them, because that bug prevents you from getting any more security updates ever. There's a hack that can bypass secure boot and gain access control over the operating system's boot process. Microsoft released security updates to fix that in March 2023 and again in July of 2024. However, that fix was disabled by default, so it never actually got applied. This week, Microsoft released a PowerShell script that helps you run that update. Thanks, Microsoft. So are you as bewildered as we are? Give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415.
Microsoft also updated one of their published reports on how to upgrade to Windows 11, saying that if you upgrade to Windows 11 on a machine that's not specifically rated for Windows 11, you should go back to Windows 10 immediately.
Immediately. And then pay us
$427 over the next 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. Look, Microsoft wants you to be on Windows 11. If that means you have to buy a new machine, tough. If that means you have to run it on the web, the internet, tough.
And you can move the taskbar back to the left, like it is on Windows 10. That's,
right, and the big difference is that the taskbar is centered, as opposed to on the left, and you can move it back. It's just a choice in the appearances tab, so you can move it back without any
affecting
trouble
anything
at all. As a matter of fact, so upgrading to Windows 11, that is the big difference visually. All of the other differences are internal. Most of them will not affect you in the least. The big ones that probably will affect you is if you're like Dave's friend, who has a program that will not run under Windows 11, can't be run in whatever mode they call it now. It's compatibility mode, but I don't think they call it that anymore. And so, Windows 11 looks a tiny bit different. And some very few programs won't run. But other than that, it's the same old, same old. And so if what you're really doing is holding off because you don't like new things, don't let that stop you.
It's also likely that the free upgrade to Windows 11 will stop.
Right.
being free this October when Windows 10 support ends. So then buying a Windows 11 license, home user license is like $150. Again, that's pretty long way toward buying a new Chromebook.
Exactly right.
Or even
playing with Linux.
Yeah.
I mean, we've said for a long time, you can get Linux to look just like your Windows machine, and you won't know the difference.
And again, unless you're running some program that absolutely requires a specific version of Windows, you can run everything you do now the same way you run it in Linux. Now, if you decide to go with something like LibreOffice, yes, you might have to learn a couple of new commands, or things may be in slightly different places in the menu. And if you think you're too stupid to learn the new stuff, that's on you. But I think you're smart enough. I believe you're smart enough, doggone it, and people like you. So I think you really should consider that move to Windows 11, or a move to Linux, or a move to a Mac, or whatever it is you're gonna do. You've got till October to do it, and you know yourself. You'll procrastinate till the last minute, and then you're going to make a bad decision because you don't have time anymore. You've put too much pressure on yourself. So do it now. Don't wait.
We have a customer. They have a vinyl cutter about the size of this room.
Yeah.
And the interface between the vinyl cutter and the rest of their design computers is an ancient, I think it was a 486.
Wowie.
That booted a floppy drive.
Wowie.
Running DOS.
Yes, sir.
To load a TCP stack. So you could address the plotter by TCP.
Oh, that would be fun to play with.
And we had to replace the floppy drive on it a little bit ago because it was just 30 years old.
You can't.
And yeah, it was hard finding a floppy drive. I think we had one left over from when we custom built PCs. But that was otherwise it's replaced the $150,000 plotter.
Right. No, I do get that. Yep. And that's an edge case, my friend.
Yeah.
That is the edgiest of edge cases.
In fact, we started tearing the thing apart to look in this sealed cabinet. Oh, what's in there? Oh, that looks like a floppy slot. There was no hard drive in it. It was just it booted a floppy, loaded DOS, loaded TCP.
Amazing. And you might be able to run PC DOS, which you can download from the internet, DR DOS.
Yep. Free DOS.
Free DOS, and any one of those, and put the program on a hard drive and run it from there.
Running in a VM, maybe.
Run it in a VM if you have to.
Yep.
There are ways around those issues. And I've played with DOS in a VM, and it DR DOS, PC DOS, free DOS, and they run fine.
Yep.
And you can do all kinds of things in them.
Typically, you think of VMs as being slow, but you're emulating DOS.
Exactly.
It's going to be faster. In fact, you can go to archive.org and run a lot of the really great games from the 90s, and they run faster in emulation on a web than they did on the original computers.
Yep. Because the timing was hardwired.
Yep.
All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Brent from Fairport, New York. What's up, Brent?
Thanks for taking my call. I am a member. I think you probably have a drive coming up in the next couple of months.
Yeah, we do.
This topic has come up before, I know, but could you advise what's a good ad blocker for an Android phone?
For Android?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good question. One of the things that you can do, are you talking about for web or for other things?
It's for, my wife likes to play a solitaire game, and, at some point it starts with an ad and she has to watch it for 30 minutes, or 30 seconds. Can't get out of it.
Right. Okay.
You pay for the ad-free version.
Right. Now, here's the thing. I can recommend a couple of ad blockers. Some programs will not run if an ad blocker is running.
Right.
So she needs to be aware of that. and be ready to go back.
Okay.
Okay. But there is a program called and all of these are available in the Play Store.
Okay.
Total Ad Block.
All right.
There's a one called Ad Away.
Okay.
No, that one's for a browser. Oh, and Blockada. Blockada.
Okay.
Those are the ones that work outside the browser.
Okay.
And of course, if you're using Chrome, it's got a built-in ad blocker. And if you're running any other browser, if you're running Vivaldi, for example, then that kills every ad on the planet. But there's also a product called AdGuard and another one called AdBlock Browser for the browser people. But for you, for your wife, Total AdBlock, AdAway, or Blockada.
Okay, well, I'll have a try. What about DuckDuckGo?
DuckDuckGo is great, but again, that is a browser thing, and unless her game if her game's in a browser, give it a try. But if it's an app that she runs, then it's one of the other three that she's going to need.
And that's built into the app, generally speaking. In fact, there was an interesting report that came out on how many hundreds of thousands of apps were caught spying on people because developers were using a public library basically on ad revenue. So say you're writing a game, you have to decide, am I going to charge for it or am I going to give it out free and collect advertising money because somebody's got to pay for my time to write the game. So they go to public repositories of code other people have written. Oh, here's one that lets me put ads in it, and I don't have to do any extra coding. That's great. And then it turns out that ad revenue source, was spying on people and collecting information.
But if the ad is built into the app, nothing is going to stop it.
Right. Okay. Except getting an ad-free version of the app.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So then it depends, how much.
Yeah, and how much does it cost compared to your wife's pain?
Yep.
Right.
Or your pain telling her that she has to do it.
All right, thanks very much.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
We
jokingly called that the race to the bottom. All of the app stores on all the platforms, interesting rule where they ended in 99 cents, or free. So the least you could charge for a program was 99 cents. So most of the early programs all started coming out at 99 cents or free with ads. And so everyone was racing to make the cheapest app they could. And whenever an app gets popular, goes viral, becomes super popular, there'll be 100 clones of the app that are usually crap, but they have a similar enough name that people get tricked by it. And so the race to the bottom on how crappy real programs have come. Although those of us that remember buying software in the store for $100 in a box don't mind paying $9.99 for that game we play.
Well, and that's exactly right. I spend a lot of money, I've discovered this year as we were doing our taxes, I spend a lot of money supporting programmers that I like. If I like a game or I like a website or, whatever, I send my money to Jimmy, what's his name, at Wikipedia and all of that. And we should support those people. Just as, by the way, you should support us. And I think it was Al who said we're coming up on Brent, who said we're coming up on a pledge drive, and or maybe it was Larry, I don't remember. The point is, we are coming up on a pledge drive, so save your shekels and send them to us because we would like to stay on the air. But in the meantime, we'll talk to Craig from Greece, New York. What's up, Craig?
Well, we're talking about Windows 10 going out, and I have a computer that's not going to be able to be upgraded to 11, so I'm thinking of going to Linux. My question is, though, I do 3D printing, and I know you do too, Nick.
Yep.
Is there a slicer like Cura that can go on Linux?
Well, in fact, Cura goes on Linux.
It probably started on Linux.
Yeah. Cura has a version for Linux. So does Creality Print if you're using a Creality printer. And most of the others do as well, although those are the only two I've used personally.
Okay, well, that's what I needed to know before I go switching over, because the computer that I keep next to the printers is another Windows 10 computer, and that's what I'm used to.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Both Cura and Creality Print were great.
Okay.
The newest version of Creality Print doesn't. Because of my lousy video card. But Cura works amazingly well. And again, it depends on what printer you have. And of course, as with any operating system, once you run the program, you can download, setup for your particular printer and tweak it and do all of the things that you would do under Windows. You can also do under Linux. What kind of printer do you have?
I have two Voxelabs, which are basically under clones.
Yeah. How do you like them?
I like them. I've had them for a while. They're just basic printers, But they're workhorses.
I tell you, most people don't need more than a basic printer.
Yeah.
I've got an Ender 3 V3 KE. I know. Shut up, Mac. Things are way worse than that.
Yeah.
I'm really very impressed with the quality I got out of it day one before I even started tweaking it.
And they don't need much tweaking anymore.
No, they really don't.
I remember I got a MakerBot 5 years ago, maybe for Matthew, and it took forever to tweak it. And we got it working right. And then I took it to Cider for a demo, and it hasn't worked right since.
No, and it screwed it up.
We moved it. Yeah.
Yep. For those of you who don't know, 3D printers are exactly what they sound like. You on the low end, which is where Craig and I are at the moment, you use a plastic filament, melt it, and then that kind of shapes it into a thing, whatever thing it is you're building.
Mm-hmm. And they start under $200 these days.
Yeah.
Although one tip I read is find someone who's selling their basic one and moving to a better one, and you can get it all broken in and working.
Right. Exactly. They're very cool. They're very cool things. Whether it's just a toy or you're doing where it really works is for rapid prototyping. If you're building things, a lot of companies use 3D printing to print those basic models. And you need, when you have a 3D printer, you need a 3D slicer, which takes whatever your model is and then makes real thin layers, which is how they get laid down by the printer itself, and that's what the slicer is. So what Craig is talking about is the software slicer that creates the file that gets printed. Whew. All right, Craig, anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you very much.
All right, have fun and let us know what you print.
Okay, I will.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I found a open source free 3D slicer named imaginatively enough 3D slicer.
Yep.
Mac, Windows, and Linux that was created through grants from the National Institutes of Health.
Yep.
So, for
Post
medical...
that link, please.
Yeah, medical imaging, they make a 3D model of the thing they're imaging to see where the problem is. We're moving into that Tony Stark where, you have the hologram that you're just manipulating in 3 dimensions.
We're getting closer to it. All right, back to the phones. As soon as Dave hauls his old bones up into the chair, we're talking to Andy from Greece, New York. What's up, Andy?
Hi, guys. A while back, this is kind of relating to the gentleman who was talking about security on his phone, or his wife's phone. You had recommended a product, and I can't even remember what the original name of it was, but it's now called FSecure. for
sure.
Android phones. And I don't remember what its original name was. Life something, I think. I don't know.
Doesn't.
But is that,
Frontier used to use them for the security suite they offered with Frontier Internet because it had an F in it, I think.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
Well, at the time I did it, it was one of those things on the Soundbites website, and I said, "This is the only thing you need for your phone." And
Right.
Is it still a good product, or?
I haven't used FSecure in a very long time.
Okay.
And so I can't really necessarily tell you. And you're talking about the phones, right?
Yes. Yeah, this is strictly on the phone.
Right. So the one we're really looking at for, that's Linux. You want the phone. No wonder I'm confused. AVG and Avast both have antivirus, anti-theft, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, Bytes has a mobile security product as well. And all of them right in the Play Store.
But FSecure also does have Android, iOS, Mac, and Windows as well.
Right.
And they're still relatively well regarded.
Yeah, I
you
haven't
just don't
used them
hear
myself.
about them as much anymore.
Right.
A lot of the bigger companies have sort of gone enterprise only, or at least enterprise first, because that's where the money is.
Okay. Yeah, because this is a free app, and I remember when I first downloaded it, whatever it was going by back in the day, your thing was put this on your phone and don't worry about it because it's all you need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good product.
And okay.
Looks like it isn't free anymore.
Right.
3 devices for $65 a year.
Yeah, very few are free. That's why in the Security Tango I just talk about AVG and Avast.
Interesting.
And of course, free means ad supported these days. I mean, nothing is free.
Okay. Oh well. On your subject of your 3D printers.
Yeah.
The one interesting application I found was a gentleman is selling this on eBay, I believe. But he makes these custom plates that go between your Ring doorbell and your siding.
Yep.
And it levels the doorbell up so it's not rocking or anything, and it just one side is shaped to fit your siding, and the other side's a flat plate, so the Ring doorbell sits up perfectly fine. And you get it, and you look at it, and you can actually see the lines where it was printed.
Yeah, the layer lines are evident on many 3D prints. If you print fine enough, you hardly see them at all. And the more you tune your printer, the less you see them. But if you print, and for something that's hiding behind a Ring doorbell, who cares? So you can print it with a pretty big nozzle and a pretty wide open nozzle, and no worries about the layer lines. But one of the things that's
a huge selection of colors that you could match whatever siding you had, so it was nice.
Yep, and that's the beauty of 3D printing. You can make a one-off and sell it to, sell that one-off to Andy and make a different one-off to sell to Steve and a different one-off to sell to somebody else. And they're easy to make, they're quick to print, and it all works. All right. Thanks, Andy. All right, that music tells us that we are done for the first hour of this show, but don't worry. There's a whole nother hour of the longest running computer show in the known universe coming your way. That's right, a whole nother hour of Dave Enright, a whole nother hour of Steve Ray. We can't wait for that. And a whole nother hour of me, Nick Francesco, and of course a whole nother hour of you, but only if you give us a call at 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299, toll free 800-790-0415. Take a slightly long break, take a bio break, get yourself an adult or not beverage, maybe a little snack, Smackerel, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes with a whole lot more sound bites right here on member-supported Jazz 90.1. See you on the other side.
Online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at soundbites.org. More with Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
WGMC Greece Rochester, a public service of the Greece Central School District, Jazz 90.1.
Online at jazz901.org.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carton. The U.S. is approving a $7 billion arms sale to Israel. The Trump administration announced the deal as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu wrapped up a visit to Washington on Friday. Earlier in the week, Congress put a hold on $1 billion weapons transfer to Israel, requesting further details from the White House. 3 former Israeli hostages are undergoing medical checkups at a hospital after being released by Hamas earlier today. The 3 men were handed over to the Red Cross in central Gaza this morning. In exchange, Israel freed a group of Palestinian prisoners. A research group off the Florida coast has caught the biggest male white shark they have ever tagged. More from Rob Martier.
The research group OSearch says the shark, about 14 feet long and over 1,600 pounds, was tagged and released on January 17th off the northern coast of Florida.
The group studies shark behavior. Lisa Carton, NBC News Radio.
Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by Summit Responsible Solutions, a manufacturer of organic, all-natural insect pest control products, including Summit Sticky Traps. Sticky traps can be used to manage pests on indoor plants and do not contain pesticides. Sticky traps are available at local and national garden centers and hardware stores. Information on how to control insect pests can be found at summitresponsibleSolutions.com.
Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by the great courses How to Grow Anything DVD series hosted by Melinda Myers. The Great Courses How to Grow Anything series consists of 4 DVD courses that provide gardening tips and information on food gardening, landscape design and care, container gardening, flower, tree, and shrub care, and more. More information is available at melindamyers.com. That's melindamyers.com.
Type 2 diabetes is a serious chronic health threat in America. It affects tens of millions of people. Many people who have the disease don't know it. Diabetes can cause health problems such as heart disease, strokes, amputations, and blindness. Talk to your doctor, get screened if you're at risk, and learn how to avoid becoming one of the millions of new cases of diabetes each year. You can help prevent type 2 diabetes. A message from CDC and HHS.
Did you know that heart transplants don't last a lifetime and the average is 17 years? 1 in 4 children face a chance of needing another within 5 years. Enduring Hearts is the only nonprofit dedicated to funding research that helps kids with heart transplants live longer, healthier lives. Enduring Hearts has funded research from the leading institutions across North America, and we will not give up. Please join our mission to save lives and consider donating today. Visit enduringhearts.org.
Hey, Joe, I thought you were retired.
Living on a fixed income is tough. So here I am, an essential worker.
I know. I mean, food prices are going up every day. Thank goodness for benefitscheckup.org.
Benefits what?
benefitscheckup.org. It's a free website where people over 60 can find help to pay for food, medicine, even utilities. I got $1,200 a year in benefits. Maybe it can help you.
Welcome back to America's longest-running computer show, Soundbites, on member-supported Jazz 90.1. Get online now. Call 966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll-free 800-790-0415. Or submit your question by email at soundbites.org. Once again, here's Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 4 minutes after the hour, we're hurtling headlong into the second hour of the longest-running computer show in the known universe, Soundbites. Right here on member-supported Jazz 90.1. And you can give us a call at 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll-free 800-790-0415. And I will read the Apple news. On Monday, Apple released an updated version of iOS 18.3 that's designed specifically for the iPhone 11, 11 Pro, and 11 Pro Max. iPhone 11 users can download the new software by going to Settings, General, and Software Update. Apple first released iOS 18.3 last Monday, and it is likely that this new version has a fix for a bug that was impacting iPhone 11 models. The update to the update, I guess, it took them a week. So don't laugh at the Windows people who had exactly the same thing.
You're finally catching up to us.
The update adds, not me.
Yeah.
The update adds a new calendar feature that causes the last calculator feature that causes the last mathematical operation to repeat when pressing the equal sign, and it fixes an issue where Apple Music playback could continue until a song ends even after the app was closed. Apple officially launched Apple Invites on Tuesday, giving iPhone users a new way to create rich digital invitations for real events. One day later, Apple released Apple Invites version 1.01 with some fixes to the original version of the app. One day later. Updating an OS version a week after release and updating an app one day after the release? Is Apple modeling its quality assurance people after Microsoft's?
Oops.
Malware that includes code for reading the contents of screenshots has been found in suspicious App Store apps for the first time. Dubbed SparkCat, the malware includes OCR capabilities for sussing out sensitive information that an iPhone user has taken a screenshot of. Users should avoid storing screenshots with sensitive information like crypto wallet recovery phrases or any passwords in their photo library to stay safe from this kind of attack.
You mean like Microsoft Recall?
Exactly. But here you're doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
A warning has been issued to millions of Apple users after a security researcher demonstrated how a critical kernel flaw could allow attackers to execute code. The security issue, patched in the latest round of software upgrades issued on January 27th, alongside iOS 18.3, could see an app be able to cause unexpected system termination, write kernel memory, or even execute code. So make sure you're up to date on all your devices. And finally, I believe Steve would be upset if I didn't mention that the first porn app was available for iOS devices. It's called Hot Tub Mac Playmate. Yeah. And it's only available in Europe via the alternative app store, Alt Store PAL. And no, I don't know what it does. What does it do, Steve? Apple does not allow pornographic or adult content apps on the official Apple App Store. However, to comply with the EU's Digital Markets Act, DMA, Apple is now required as a gatekeeper to allow sideloading of apps through third-party app platforms, which can offer these types of apps. Since the iPhone turns 18 this year, I suppose it's allowed more adult content. So if you got all your Apple devices up to date, give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299, toll-free, 800-790-0415.
I have a friend who wrote a children's book app for the iPhone, and he had to rate it, was it 17 and above, because it let you go to the internet where you could see porn.
Okay. All right.
And so that kind of ruined the whole thing about selling a children's book.
Yeah, right. And
Did you know there's porn on the internet?
There's what now?
Yeah.
Holy cow. The internet is bigger than I thought. But yeah, so in Europe, what happened was the European Union sued Apple because Apple alone controls the App Store and doesn't allow anybody else to add or remove things from the App Store. Unlike Google, where you can use the Amazon App Store as well as the Google Play Store.
And you can turn off that App Store restriction on Android and get all of the fake apps you need.
Right, all the
malicious Fortnite
malicious apps. Yeah, exactly. And so the European Union, the EU, sued Apple because Apple didn't allow that. So now in the European Union, there is an alternate app store called, like I said, alt something PAL. And it can have any kind of app in it, including porn. And the first one has appeared. Now, much as you may or may not care for porn, I'd be really, really careful of any third-party app on either platform that I downloaded. I would be very, very careful.
Somebody's please hold.
The whole idea behind sticking with the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store is because they do a lot to vet their products. And even they make mistakes, but at least, they're closer. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Chuck from Penfield, New York. What's up, Chuck?
How many times have I heard that? You guys have probably addressed this. Generally, regular news-type apps that have a video, and when you scroll down the page and you want to read the article, the video follows you down. It jumps down. It's not a pop-up, but it kind of follows you down the page. I've looked around, and I can't seem to find a solution to that. Everything seems to cover pop-ups, and there's pop-up blockers and such. Have you guys addressed that issue? Do you know about it?
I know about it. I've seen it many times myself. I've also seen the ones I've seen. If you scroll past it, it pops down to a little.
Yeah, down in the lower, in my case,
corner,
right-hand corner, whatever, and it just keeps kind of following you along. And it's, guys, I already saw this. I want to read the article. Go away.
You can close it. They all
Sometimes.
have most of them have a little X that you can close.
Yeah, you can close it, but I just.
Yeah, it's annoying. I haven't found an answer to that myself yet.
Oh, okay.
It's part of the web code. It's that cat and mouse game between the blockers and I found a new way to do something.
Yeah, and it's not a pop-up either, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You may be able. A lot of browsers have the ability to turn off autoplay videos.
Yeah, I've
and
tried
that might stop.
I've tried that, and it doesn't seem to help it either.
Yeah, the thing with turning off autoplay is that the website has to allow that. So you might just for grins and giggles go to one of those websites using Vivaldi.
Okay.
Which is another Chromium-based browser, so it's very similar to Chrome, but not Firefox. Firefox is a different engine underneath. But Vivaldi is very good about blocking all kinds of things. But again,
I'm using Opera. Is that any?
Yeah, I was about to say.
Kind of a clone too. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say the problem is it's not malicious adware.
Right.
Right. It's part of the code. So no, I don't know of anything that will block it. I'm sorry.
Would you understand the reason for wanting to do that? I mean, we've already seen the video, and I want to read the article.
Often they get an ad in the middle or an ad at the end, and if you stop watching, you don't see that ad.
Okay.
And they get paid for those ads.
And you can't have seen the whole video yet. It's still playing.
Right. So it's, as usual, there's money behind the issue.
You aren't kidding.
Yep. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chuck.
Bye.
Yeah. I actually I do a decent amount of my browsing in Lynx, Lynx, which is a text-based browser. So I never see videos and I never see ads. I will see a hole where the ad. Well, I'll see a line that says, image, where the ad would be. It just says the word image in brackets, that sort of thing. But when I'm feeling like I need distraction-free browsing, Lynx is the way to go. And that's what I use, and it's also fast. Cheese and crackers, it's fast, because you're just downloading the text. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Ed from Rochester, New York. What's up, Ed?
Yeah, hey, I wondered if you had some suggestions for a hotspot. I use that at home in lieu of Wi-Fi. Usually, it's been working fine. You put the password in, and it just connects you right off the bat. But today, for some reason, and I was doing it last night, it would connect, and then you'd see the cursor start to go around, and then it would drop off and give me a message that incorrect password or invalid password. So I tried it 3 or 4 times. It always connects, and it starts and it'll pop up that this is my my Wi-Fi / hotspot name, etc. And then it'll just sort of die again and give me that same invalid password. So I don't know if the only thing I can think of, I guess that about a day or two ago, I was talking to a Samsung customer service because I was having trouble with the fonts, and they just did a reset, and sort of like I guess it's like a restart. And the next day I started to use it, and I got the unable to connect because of invalid password. So I went into the mobile window and tapped on that, and I don't know if they have a generic password in there or not. So I said, well, try that. And I tried that, and it gave me the same answer on that also. So I'm kind of scratching my head and give you a call to see if you had any suggestions, because I've tried all the put the phone near the Chromebook and move around. I've done all that stuff.
Okay, so who's your hotspot through?
Verizon.
Is there a way to change the password in the hotspot, change it to something you know, and then put that same password in on the computer?
That's a good point. You're ahead of me. I was going to ask you that. I've never done this before, but my understanding is once you put the password in the Chromebook, it used to just go ahead and connect you. It just bang and you're there. I don't know if in the restart that they did at Samsung, if you now have to put a password for the hotspot in addition to your regular password to open up the Chromebook. Is that correct?
Well, you always do need to put in the password, the wireless password for the hotspot. If they reset the Chromebook, it may have forgotten that password, and you have to type it in again.
Yeah, I see. I even tried to do that, and it still. And I went into my NPass account, and I had about 5 or 6 old Google passwords, and I put all of those in. And
it wouldn't be the Google password; it would be the hotspot password.
Right.
Assigned by that hotspot device.
Right,
so,
and I tried that, matter of fact, this morning, and they wouldn't even take that. Sometimes they'll give you a generic one, I guess. If you use that to get in, then you can change it once you're in.
Hold on, Ed, hold on. I'm confused. Is your hotspot the Chromebook itself, or do you have a separate device that is the hotspot?
No, the Chromebook is part of the whole 9 yards. It's just open it up, and I just,
So you've got a SIM card in your Chromebook?
Right.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So in that case, check your network settings, right, to make sure that you're connecting A, to the correct device, B, that it's on the correct network, and C, that you've got the right password. Reseat your SIM card.
Okay.
If it's not showing. Certainly, restart the Chromebook if you've only been shutting the lid, because that doesn't really turn it off.
Right.
There's also a setting to turn off hotspot and turn it back on again.
Right.
Separate from turning the Chromebook on and off.
Yeah, that I can't find that. What I used to do is just sometimes when I did it a long time ago, I just put it on airplane mode and then zap it again and take it back off, and then it would come up fine. And I tried that. That didn't work either. So
right. Well, and that's why I'm saying shut your machine down completely and check that card is properly seated.
Yeah, okay.
Because, I mean, let's face it, it's a Chromebook. You move it around, things can happen.
I don't want to mislead you. The way that I normally do it, I go to my phone and get I click on the hotspot on the phone, and then I go to the computer or the Chromebook, and then simply you put in the password, and then the window will come up, and then I'll just click on, push the hotspot, and it'll come up automatically. So I don't know if...
Okay, so in fact, you don't have a SIM card in your Chromebook. You connect your Chromebook to your phone.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Yeah, correct. That is correct. I go through the phone to get to the...
okay, that's entirely different then. Forget everything I just said.
Yeah, I know.
But do all those things on the phone instead.
Right, do all those things on the phone.
In the hotspot settings on the phone, turn it off, turn it back on, change the password to something you know, and then be able to type that in on the Chromebook when you join the Wi-Fi on the Chromebook.
Right.
Yes. If I go to the there's a mobile, when you click on the mobile on the Chromebook, it'll come up. There's a window that will give you. It won't show you your password, unfortunately, but it has a password in there. So I did try that this morning to put one in that maybe it would recognize. And I tried to go through the whole process again, and I got the same. And it tries to connect.
You have to put in the password that's already in the phone. So change.
And it is not your Chrome password unless you've made them the same.
Right, it's the hotspot password in the phone. So going into the phone and changing the hotspot password to something you know you're typing right will let you type that same password into the Chromebook to join
I didn't
the
know
Wi-Fi.
I thought you had to do it on the Chromebook, not on the phone. I
Both.
never did it on the phone.
On the phone, you set the password, and on the Chromebook, you have to type in the password that you set on the phone.
Maybe that's it. But that's what's confusing because it's the password I've always used to get on the Chromebook to get on, and for some reason
sir, you do not use the Chromebook password to connect to the hotspot. The hotspot, unless you have made them the same, is a different password. So you've got a password that lets you connect to your hotspot, and you have set that in the phone. Now you log on to the Chromebook using your Google password. Then you connect to the hotspot using the hotspot password.
Yeah, that's the okay. That's what I thought it needed too. That's the only thing I can figure that wasn't connecting because it would try to connect and it would connect, and then it drops off, and the only thing it gives me is the bad password. So, okay, I'll check the phone, and I don't remember doing that ever, but maybe that's been a long time ago. Oh, yeah, that's the only thing I can remember. That's good enough. Okay, I'll give it a shot then.
Well, hold on a second, Ed. If you were listening to Steve, what he told you was to set a new password in the phone's hotspot.
Well, if I got the phone now and I'm clicking up the hotspot, and
there should be a setting for the name of the hotspot, the Wi-Fi hotspot is creating, and the password for that Wi-Fi.
The thing that the reason I wanted to call you today, when I click on, let me get it right now. When I click on the hotspot on the phone, generally the cursor goes around quite a bit, like it's searching for something legitimate. Now, when I clicked on the mobile hotspot, I'm doing it now. And the cursor, it came up and bang, it's gone. It's like it didn't even start to connect. It does it too fast. So I don't know, I don't have an option. I don't remember the phone ever having an option to put a hotspot password into the phone itself for the hotspot. It just, quickly hit it and it comes up automatically.
Have you tried turning the phone off and back on?
Yep, I did the airplane. I set it 2 or 3 times last night and this morning. I took it off the airplane mode. I used to work in the past, and then you zap it again. So when you come off airplane mode, then it used to sort of wake it up, and it would connect then.
So if you can't even open the hotspot settings in the phone, there's something wrong in the phone.
Right. So if you go to your settings and search for hotspot,
okay,
you will see the hotspot.
Settings hotspot. Okay.
What model phone was it?
This is an A14 Samsung Galaxy.
All right. So do you see Wi-Fi hotspot?
Yep. Hang on a second. I got the Bluetooth setting. Hang on a second. I got the mobile hotspot. So if I click on that, see what it'll do.
Wait, listen. I'm sorry. You see Wi-Fi hotspot. Is it turned on?
Yeah, I just have the mobile thing on right now. I got the window. Gives me the network name and the password that the phone put in here, and I think that's a temporary password.
No, that is the password you use to connect to the hotspot.
Right, and that's not working. Exactly.
So change it to something else. Yeah, delete it and type something new in.
And then type that new thing into the Chromebook.
Right. Yeah, I did that 3 or 4 times, and she's still not. Okay. Well,
you can try turning off the hotspot, rebooting the phone, and then turn the hotspot back on again.
Okay.
but it sounds like it's something in the phone.
He
isn't
might have
working right.
inadvertently typed the password into the phone incorrectly, even
Yeah.
if it's off
Into
by
the
one.
Chromebook, yeah.
Yeah.
Incorrectly, and that's why it's dropping the phone.
So it's
password.
not just the password. It's got to be the proper uppercase and lowercase, any spaces, any numbers, no spaces, whatever it has to be.
Got to be exact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah, I've done it too. So, okay, well, I'll check around with the phone and see if there's anything, because I don't remember ever having. I just would push the button and bang, it would go from there.
No,
All
I
right,
understand,
so,
but sometimes they screw up and you got to redo it again.
Yeah, I don't know if they reset everything to the basic settings, not a factory reset. She said she just did a reset, which helped, I guess, shock the phone a little bit. Would that have anything to do with the hot? Because my Chromebook.
Yes, it would probably reset that password.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I thought too.
So if you are using, if it has given itself a new password, then on the Chromebook, after you log into the Chromebook with your Google password,
right,
you need to connect to the hotspot using the password from the phone, the new password in the hotspot area of the phone.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll try that again, because that also gave me the same instance. All righty, so I'll try that. I just want to see if I was going down the right path. Okay, gents, thanks a lot.
All right,
Appreciate
good
it.
luck.
Have a good day.
Yeah, and it is possible that if that doesn't work, it is possible that there's something not right with the phone.
Or
if that password is changed in the slightest, whether it was an uppercase or lowercase,
or there's a space at the end. I see that a lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
And you can't see it.
Or a space at the beginning.
Yeah, and so you don't notice that, but that space is part of the password, and you have to type that in on the other end. Too.
Yeah, and it'll give them that message, incorrect password, because that's what it's. Passwords are very specific.
Right.
Upper and lower case and punctuation and everything else. It's not, well, that's an E. Well, it wanted a capital E, not a lowercase e.
Or a capital I versus a 1, or lowercase l versus a 1.
Yep.
Right. We were just talking about that. I got a spam message that purported, well, it was, in fact, from PayPal. And one of the checks that a lot of anti-spam programs use is to see if there's a phone number in the message itself. And in this one, it uses a sans serif font. And so what they've done is they've given me a phone number in which the ones are actually the letter I, capital I, and the 0 is actually a capital O, so that it gets around the check for a phone number in the thing. Yeah.
So they're getting trickier. And there'll usually be something about note to customer. If you didn't authorize this payment, click here or call this phone number.
Well, and that's what I get.
And PayPal doesn't say that on a real invoice.
And certainly I could have called, it says I-888 and a number. I certainly would have looked at that and said, okay, 1-888.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes sense to me. But the way to figure out whether or not that's real is to do what we tell people to do all the time. Go to PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
Log into PayPal. I don't see any $399.99.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've gotten a number of them lately. I also got, matter of fact, a phone call while I was at work from Paycheck.
Oh, nice.
I didn't have a chance to answer it, though. I would have loved to. I love playing around with those guys.
Sure.
They'll sit there and, well, you got this check that's due you, hyping it up. Not that you owe them. They owe you money, and you're thinking, oh, great. That's where they sucker a lot of people in.
And it's always for a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
If they'd ask for $10 or $20, they might get a lot more people. Because maybe your wife bought something. Oh, okay, I'll let it go through.
Right, you sent $399.99 to this person. If they had said you sent $15 to this person, I'd go, okay, I do that a lot.
Yep.
Maybe that's real. Like I said, I support a lot of of people, and I send them a few bucks here, a few bucks there. Yep. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with Dave Enright, Steve Ray, me, Nick Francesco, and you. It's 29 minutes after the hour. You're listening to the longest-running computer show in the known universe, Sound Bytes, right here on the truly great and truly grateful to you that we are member-supported Jazz 90.1. See you in a few.
It's America's longest-running computer show. Back to more Sound Bites with Nick, Dave, and Steve. Next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carton. A federal judge is blocking Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency from accessing the payment system used by the Treasury Department. Early Saturday morning, the judge ruled only civil servants who need the system to do their jobs will have access. The ruling also requires any data downloaded by those who are now blocked must be destroyed. The order will remain in place until at least Friday, when there will be a hearing in a case brought by 19 Democratic state attorneys general seeking to prevent Musk and DOGE from gaining access to the system. The first ever Super Bowl parade is underway in New Orleans today. Kickoff between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles is set for 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Fly, Eagles, fly. Who's your favorite team? Lisa Carton, NBC News Radio.
Boost the flavor and nutrition of your diet by planting a smoothie garden. Hi, I'm Melinda Myers, horticulturist and gardening expert. My friend Jamie started a smoothie garden trend in her neighborhood, and we thought you might like to join in on the fun. She grows kale, spinach, Swiss chard, beets, and cilantro to include in her favorite smoothie recipes. She removes the stems of the kale and Swiss chard and uses both the greens and colorful beet roots. Her go-to recipe is a mixture of 2 large handfuls of greens, 1 cup frozen berries, 1/2 frozen banana, and 1 cup of water or coconut water. Add more liquid to create the desired consistency. You can also add hemp or flax seeds. Small space gardeners can grow all these ingredients in containers on a balcony or deck. Those with more space may want to grow extras to freeze and use when the garden season has ended. Check out our website for this and other gardening tips.
Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by Greece Odyssey Academy, presenting The Little Mermaid on stage February 21st, 22nd, and 23rd at Greece Odyssey Academy. For tickets and more information, you may visit greececsd.org.
The baritone saxophone introduces Nick Brignola as our guest within the Essence of Jazz. Nick plays in all 15 instruments of the reed family, but is best known for the baritone. He is best described as a natural musician, having begun by ear, by listening and performing with others. His early attempts at formal study failed.
The extent of my education consisted of a year and a half at Ithaca College, which was primarily known as a music ed school. They frowned on jazz. Since I couldn't really read music, I don't even know how I got into that school. But anyway, I didn't attend the ensemble because I couldn't read. And I was taking, trying to learn to read on my own and having some people help me out. It didn't work out.
This is Will Moyle. Enjoy the musical and conversational personality of Nick Brignola, including his duo recording with the great Pepper Adams here within the Essence of Jazz.
The Essence of Jazz with Will Moyle, Saturday nights at 6, only on members-supported Jazz 90.1.
As a veteran, you get a lot of advice, but wisdom's harder to come by. A lot of people imagine themselves in our shoes, without understanding the weight on our shoulders. The truth is, few can understand the pressure of finding your own way after serving in the military. But few isn't none. Steady yourself. You're not alone. You've got support. Learn more at maketheconnection.net.
Here's the latest Jazz 90.1 weather forecast.
Cloudy today with an easterly breeze, and we'll find some light snow developing by later into the afternoon. Temperatures will be topping out in the upper 20s for highs. For tonight, we'll look for areas of snow, 3 to 7 inches of accumulation. Overnight lows will be into the mid-20s. For the day on Sunday, we'll find some snow, especially in the morning, a cloudy sky for the afternoon. The high temperature near 30, and Monday features clouds, some sun, and some lake flakes, highs in the mid-20s. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
And currently right now we've got overcast skies, 28 degrees out at the airport, and 33 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 34 minutes after the hour, we are Soundbites, and we have Dave from Canandaigua, New York on the line. What's up, Dave?
All kinds of stuff, but none of them are really all that bad.
Good. Thanks for calling.
I had one comment. We're talking about the FSecure earlier, and Steve mentioned that the F comes up a lot. And having worked around computers, I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, it's the truth.
It does come up a lot. I have a question about Proton Mail and that type of stuff to supposedly secure. If you have Proton Mail and you're communicating with somebody that's using Yahoo Mail, is it really secure?
No.
Yeah.
Every mail service is basically secure unto itself. But once it crosses the internet boundary to another system, then there's something called the downgrade attack.
Right.
Since mail servers originally didn't have any security, a malicious mail server can say, "Oh, I don't support security," and the sending mail server says, well, "Okay, here's the plain text."
Yep. So when I send from Gmail to Gmail, when I send an email. If I'm sending it to another Gmail person, it is encrypted one end to the other 100%. But if I send it to Yahoo, it's decrypted in the middle. Similarly, Proton Mail. Proton to Proton, 100% encrypted. Proton to anybody else, decrypted. So, and you can create encrypted mail in systems like Thunderbird, where you actually set your own password and use your own, PGP or whatever to create encrypted mail. But then the other side has to accept that encoded message and be able to decode it. So that's encrypted mail has been an issue on the internet since day one.
It was never designed for encryption.
Right.
And adding encryption later is virtually impossible to do it securely because some mail server can say, I don't support that. And in fact, the problem's gotten worse. There was just a story on GRC. If you use a program like Thunderbird or Sparrow or Apple Mail on any device, basically, the default connection between your computer and your mail server is unencrypted. You have to go in and turn encryption on. There's usually something that says SSL or TLS or password encryption. And there was a story about how many hundreds of thousands of mail servers accept unencrypted mail and how much unencrypted mail is still flying around the internet because people haven't turned on that checkbox. Because a lot of us have had our mail program for 30 years and never bothered.
Now, if you use something like Gmail, you have a choice of POP3 or IMAP. POP3 is often unencrypted by default. IMAP is encrypted by default. You have to use SSL or the other one. So it depends on your email server. It depends on your email service. And it depends on to whom you are sending an email.
And once you cross services, it gets decrypted in the middle, so it can go through the internet, the most dangerous part of the trip, to get to the server at the other end.
I have a piece of advice for the guy that was calling. He had the trouble with the passwords between the Chromebook and the phone. If you use a password manager, it's not just for filling in website stuff. You can copy and paste out of the manager, so now you don't have to know whether you miss figures or a zero rather than an O, blah blah blah.
But when one end
And
changes without you knowing it, if something gets reset, then that save password doesn't work anymore. I run into so many people that have so many incorrectly saved passwords.
Right.
Because they typed it wrong, and the password manager says, "Oh, you want to save that?" And okay, sure.
Oh.
But that's the wrong password.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you're right, Dave. Thanks.
So the main thing I wanted to give an update. The nonprofit that I work with, we're trying to switch over to MoneyDance, and the participants in this will be one of them's in Montreal. I've been working with them.
Mm-hmm.
We have established the ability to have the folder basically online. We're using Google Drive, and now both of us can access that same piece of information.
Okay.
And and it's pretty straightforward. They have the directions and all, and I was doing them faithfully, and it wasn't connecting. And what happens is that there's a certain amount of latency between Google itself and the program or whatever, that when we're waiting for something to open up and it didn't open up, it's like, what have we done wrong? Well, you might have to wait 2 or 3 minutes when the next person wants to get clued in on all this stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, we had the thing working. I could go access it while it's up online, but the next person, when they tried to log into the thing, you go through all the steps, but it just would not connect.
Yeah, the delay there.
Minutes. Yeah, just wait a few minutes.
Well, the other great thing, too, though, is what I love about MoneyDance is the support. The folks on there are so great. They've got a great community. If you've got questions on doing this or that, Maddie, Maddy, answers a ton of questions daily. I wonder sometimes how they, a number of those folks even sleep, because it's like they're always answering this question or that one, and they don't take any one question lightly. They get back there and are very responsive and will hold your hand, whether you're really knowledge in working around computers and that and setting databases and that up, or just a simple user. So they're great.
In fact, I sent a message to them, but I don't think they really didn't recognize the way it looks like from the outside when you don't know this stuff is you just got to wait a couple minutes.
Yeah. Yep.
But anyway, so no matter what operating system you use or whatever, so we'll see how it goes.
Yep.
Thanks, gentlemen.
All right. Thank you,
Take
Dave.
care,
Have
Dave.
fun.
I ran into an annoying issue with MoneyDance. My Quicken subscription has expired, so I was going to switch to MoneyDance, and it says it imports from Quicken.
Yeah.
Only older versions of Quicken that use the QIF format, Quicken Interchange format. My version of Quicken is too new. It uses the QXF, Quicken Exchange format, and cannot be imported into MoneyDance.
Interesting.
So I can.
And you can't save as QIF?
Nope. Only QXF or CSV. So I can export every account as a CSV and import into every new account. So I'm looking for a QXF to QIF importer. I'm even thinking of maybe pushing it through an older version somehow. But I got to downgrade to the older version.
There is one online, but I don't know that I would trust it.
Yeah.
Money Thumb. And there is one at GitHub.
Yeah, so they say they import Quicken, but only QIF, and they have a tech note saying, "Yep, QFX is a proprietary format. We don't know what's in it. We haven't been able to reverse engineer yet. We don't know when it's coming. So if you have too new a version of Quicken, you may have a little more work for you."
Good to know. Thank you. But you can do each individual account as a CSV.
Yeah. So it's going to lose all my scheduled transactions.
Right. Right.
But setting those up is so darn easy.
Yeah.
It took me an afternoon. It was a pain in the butt in setting, the reminders up and everything else. Excuse me. But going back in there and they making the changes, like even subscriptions. My Sling went up by a couple bucks. I just had to quick go in to the reminders, and you can edit it and boom, make the change, and then it remembers it for the rest of the year.
Here's a tip. If you think working with your computer is a pain in the butt, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was an afternoon, it was a crappy afternoon, and I just took the time to sit there and set it all up, and I was even getting into, changing the colors of every other line,
You were bored, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it was an afternoon, I couldn't do anything, really nothing to do, and I went, all right, just like we tell folks, take the time here or there when you have those moments to back up or set up passwords and pass. That's a perfect project for a day when you got really not a heck of a lot to do and don't feel like doing much. Focus on that.
Or a cold Saturday afternoon.
Yeah,
now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not backing up today, why not?
Yep, exactly.
And while you do that, we'll go back to the phones and talk to Dennis, who has an excuse for not backing up because he's calling us from Rochester, New York. What's up, Dennis?
Yeah, that's correct. I'm new to CloneZilla, and I was able to figure it out enough to clone an SSD to exact a 400 gigabyte SSD to another 400 gigabyte SSD. But I want to clone the SSD to a spinning hard drive, and what a note said online was I have to look for something in CloneZilla to make sure the characteristics aren't going to change the hard drive to look like an SSD. Do you know where I would find that information in CloneZilla?
I'm not sure why you would even need to bother that. CloneZilla, pick a source, pick a destination, hit go.
Yeah, it just does it.
It just does it. Now, are you talking about the fact that the spinning hard drive is not 400 gig? Is that what you're talking about?
No, it's not that. I did clone once with an SSD to a spinning hard drive, and then the hard drive ended up with properties of an SSD. You couldn't defrag it, and you couldn't trim it. So it was kind of in limbo. And so I looked that up, and it says you have to make sure characteristics are saved of the characteristics of a spinning hard drive are saved before you start the cloning.
Well, trim is an SSD only function. It has no purpose on an HDD.
And defragging went out with NTFS.
And Windows NT.
Yeah, I mean, that you no longer defrag a drive. You haven't had to defrag a drive in, I'll bet you, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, NTFS doesn't let the files get fragmented in the first place, so you don't need to defragment it.
Yep.
Okay. Well, it was called an SSD, and I couldn't trim it, and I couldn't. Of
right.
course,
you can't trim a spinning hard drive.
Yeah, and you can't defrag one. Not with NTFS.
Which has nothing to do with CloneZilla. It's properties of a spinning hard drive.
Yep.
You're losing me on that one because when I was using spinning hard drives.
Yeah, you can defrag them.
Back in the day.
But you can't trim them.
Right, no, I understand that. But this note said you must let CloneZilla know that you're going from an SSD to a hard drive, a spinning hard drive, not to another SSD. So maybe that note was wrong. Maybe have you ever heard of such a thing?
Well, what you want to do is if you're cloning an SSD to a spinning hard drive, you boot CloneZilla. You boot CloneZilla the way you normally would. You select from the boot menu. You select to RAM.
Oh.
Then you choose your language and your keyboard layout. Then you start CloneZilla, and then you select disk to local disk. Then you set your source and your destination, and hit go.
Yeah.
I was doing the beginner mode, and I didn't see anything about RAM. But and at what point do you have to set to RAM?
Right at the very beginning in the live when you first boot CloneZilla, from for example, the USB drive. You'll see a boot menu, and one of those choices is to RAM, right at the very beginning. Then that's even before you choose your language and keyboard.
Okay.
Then you start CloneZilla. Then you select disk to local disk. Then you set your source and your target and begin cloning.
Okay. I'll work with that then. All right, thanks, guys.
Now, hold on. The destination drive, particularly in this instance, must be at least as large as the source drive.
Yeah, it won't go to a smaller drive. It has to go to the same or larger. Yeah.
Yep, I am aware of that.
Okay, good.
I've also posted a step-by-step guide on CloneZilla.
There you go.
Okay.
On how,
great.
And it was screenshots. Although I don't see your clone to RAM option in the screenshots.
Interesting. Well, follow what you see on the screenshots. That's probably a newer version.
Yeah, this is dated February 24. At least it has a date. I hate when these articles don't have dates at all.
Mm-hmm. I just know I'm using the latest live stable version of it. That's all I know.
Right. All right, you should be fine from here on out.
All right, I'll give it a shot. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Dennis. Yeah, CloneZilla, for those of you who don't know, allows you to clone one hard drive to another. So it's more than a backup. A backup generally means your data.
Now I see it. I'm on a newer website.
Okay, so post a newer website.
Yeah. Can I delete that last one I just posted?
Okay, I can't do it from here, but yeah. What was I saying? CloneZilla lets you clone a hard drive, which is different from backing up. Generally, backing up means your data. Cloning means you make an exact duplicate of that hard drive, including the operating system. That's good in that it's fast to replace the old machine. You just pop in the new hard drive and go. It's bad in that if one of the problems with your old machine was in the operating system, you've just cloned that problem. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Roberto from Irondequoit, New York. What's up, Roberto?
Well, good afternoon, fellas. I just wanted to pass along one thing. I signed up for the broadband program from New York State, and I used Greenlight, which is the best website and the easiest to hook up to. I had Spectrum at 600. They tell you 25 at Greenlight, but they give you more, and I've noticed absolutely no difference. It's fantastic. Greenlight was absolutely wonderful, and anybody that might be a lower income, which is like $30,000 a year, it's what they consider low. You're eligible for this program, and I'll tell you, it's unbelievable the amount of money you save. And switching from Spectrum to Greenlight is absolutely phenomenal.
Yep. I agree with you. So what Roberto was talking about is New York State has a broadband initiative for lower income people, and it's inexpensive. I probably shouldn't quote money, but it's I think $15 a month. I think.
That's exactly right.
There you go, and you get to pick your providers from a specific list, and Greenlight, who's a friend of the show, is on that list, and we're all very pleased that you're getting great service, Roberto. Excellent. Thanks for reporting that.
And we posted those links a couple weeks ago.
Right.
Yes, in fact, the 15 is just where they tell you 25 down, and it's more. Just wonderful. And I do have another question very quickly, if I may. I've been listening to you folks for years. I love your suggestions about security. I listened to Steve Gibson. I'm somewhat concerned about the doggy people that are getting into the computer systems. Is there any way to protect ourselves? Because I know one of the kids that's doing it for Musk was fired for selling information to another company. And I'm finding that very concerning because I do some confidential stuff, and I was wondering if you folks had any suggestions how to protect yourself.
Don't put anything online.
Yeah. Okay. So what he's
impossible.
talking about is the new DOGE is the new Department of Government Government Efficiency, DOGE, and what's happened is that Elon Musk has hired a bunch of kids, some of whom have very shady backgrounds.
I was a Nazi before it was cool.
Well, one just got let go because of child porn.
Right, exactly.
And 19 states are already suing to stop it from happening.
Right.
Yeah.
But what they've done is they've been given access to all of our Social Security information.
So they're not breaking into your computer. They are accessing government computers that have all your data on it.
Right, exactly. So
it's just as good, isn't it?
Yeah.
well, exactly.
That's better.
And there isn't really anything you can do about it, Roberto. I'm sorry. I wish there were. I wish there was something I could do about it.
There are services like DeleteMe.com that will scrounge the internet and remove your data from data brokers.
That's not useful in this case.
Right. This is the government. They can't get the data out of the government.
They've already got your data, and now they can do whatever they want with it.
Yeah.
So I'm
Well,
sorry.
What I'm concerned about, too, is, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
I'm a veteran, and I understand they could get our health records. I mean, I just have no idea how to prevent them from doing that. That's unbelievable that they could get all the vets' health records, et cetera, and then who the heck are they selling it to? Like 23andMe, et cetera?
Right.
There was just a news segment we had in the last news.
And the dumbest thing
that
is
federal judges are trying to stop this.
Yeah, they get and here's the dumbest thing that even judges, with all their education and knowledge, don't understand is that some of these guys already got this information.
That's exactly right.
And the judges are so dumb in that they're sitting there saying, all right, well, then delete that data.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. How the heck are you going to know whether they deleted it or not and what they're going to do with it, especially if they send it overseas? Hello? You're going to tell some company, say in India or wherever, oh, yeah, you got to delete that because the U.S. government said to? They're going to tell you go spit in the wind.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Roberto. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. I wish I had a better answer.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll lose a little sleep tonight, but thank you, gentlemen.
Well, here in New York, the New York Attorney General is already petitioning to get this stopped. If you live in other states, contact your state Attorney General to add them to the list.
Well, and yes, but as we said, that information is already out there.
Yeah.
You can't put the egg back together again. All right. That
Thank
music tells us thanks, Roberto. We are done for another week. I want to thank Dave Enright. I want to thank Steve Ray. I want to thank me, Nick Francesco. I want to thank everybody who called in, particularly Roberto, who will make it harder for me to sleep tonight. Thank you so much. But we are done for another week. And it's been, you folks had some great questions this week. We went, from Linux to 3D printers to pixels to the government to secure mail. It's great. And we are done here. And you've been listening to the longest running computer show in the known universe, Soundbites, right here on member-supported Jazz 90.1. We'll see you in just 166 hours. Be good to one another, will you?
Stardate February 8th. The Big Bear is more than just the Big Dipper.